Oh, must be Wednesday. Hump day. Hump day. Hump day.
Man, Big Daddy Kane, and Ronald Acuna Jr. and all of that, man. So we're in the building, man. It's Wednesday Hump Day. We like to do it on Hump Day sometimes. You know what I mean? No pun intended. It's myself, left-handed in the building at RM Des on Twitter. Then you got the Super Bowl defending NFC champion in the building. Yada Bears in the house, holding me down as usual. Look at this show. Look at this show off. Show off. Look at this. Look at this. This is all I can do. You know what I mean? Because I'm old school, so I gotta do it black and white television. Browski's over here doing it in Technicolor.
That's
So
right.
that's what it is. We're in the house. Down in Sports Talk, man. Part two, NFC chop up. All right, part two of our 2023 NFL preview. We was talking about some things behind the scenes. We're gonna get down and dirty with it tonight. I know Browski came, dressed for the occasion. So I know
Always.
she's gonna talk about her Eagles and stuff like that. And I'm gonna get into my Buccaneers. You never know who's gonna jump into the situation with us tonight. But before we get started, we were just talking about behind the scenes, how these fans are starting to get really, really. I don't want to say proactive. They're doing too much.
They can be
Absolutely,
active.
they're doing too much. And I wanted to get Yada's opinion on the situation that happened in Colorado with Ronald Acuna Jr. And then I'm going to talk to a couple of other situations that happened back in the days. What's good with you, Yada Bear? What's happening?
Just chilling, enjoying my Eagle special Kelly
Look at
Green
this. Look at
edition.
this. Look at this.
Oh,
This.
look at that.
Look at this.
The people has been asking for the Kelly Green, and we have been rewarded with Kelly Green this year.
Look
It's
at
so
this.
great to
Lord.
have
Lord. Look
this
at
glorious
Yes,
jersey
describe it. Describe
outfit.
it. Go ahead.
You know, back in our rotation, um, a lot of fond memories of of the Eagles and Kelly Green. The fondest of mine is Randall Cunningham. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, and of
Right.
course he's Philadelphia Eagles. And just remember, there's a lot of great memories of watching him run up and down the field. Being one of the prototype quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks. A lot of people don't give Randall that much credit of being like one of the first black mobile quarterback who can do it, throwing it and running the ball. So definitely salute to Randall Cunningham out there, just holding it down and being the prototype to what we see out here today: the Jalen Hurts, the Patrick Mahomes, the Lamar Jackson, the Deshaun Watsons.
Right. That's
Just
right.
being those type of dual threat quarterbacks who could do it with their arm and their legs.
That's
So
right.
to them.
Yeah, that's what's up. So yeah, so again, we're going to get into the NFC preview. Chop it up and go all over the league, all over the NFC with it. But what's your thoughts in regards to these fans that are getting,
Oh,
that really get out of? I got some things I want to get off, say about that, but I want to hear your opinions and your
oh
thoughts.
man, like that stuff is crazy. What we talking about is the incident with Ronald Acuna Jr. He's out there. What was it in right field, and out of nowhere, two fans jumped onto the field and jumping on him. He's basically like fighting them off, and things like that is a little scary because you don't know what these fanatics would do, to their favorite players. I know a while ago we had a discussion about fans versus fanatics, and like I was telling Left, like most fans wouldn't jump, on the field during the game because we have respect for the game. We want our team to win. We don't want to hurt our players. With a fanatic, it seems like they feel like they own you, like you are their possession, and they should be able to have access to you anytime they want. So when you see like guys jumping on the field, jumping on the court or just being like super aggressive with any type of athlete or celebrity, it's like fanatic to me. It's like they are just out of their mind, and that situation was just crazy. Like I can't remember the last time I seen something like that, like in a baseball game. Like when was the last time you saw something like that?
Man, listen, listen, Browski. It runs the gamut. Like, I'm a little bit older than you, so I kind of remember from like when I was little. It used to be this lady named Morgana. She would come out on the field, you know what I mean, and she would kiss. She would actually run up to players and kiss them.
What, at Yankee
And
Stadium?
everywhere,
Oh,
everywhere. Like she was at all-star games. She was, and it was like I don't want to call it a novelty, but it was something that you knew what she was going to do. She was there for that. You know what I
mhm,
mean? She would run up on the player and hug him and kiss him and stuff like that. And then it was like everybody would get a chuckle out of it. Ha ha ha! Look at Morgana. You know what I mean? And
mhm.
if you Google it and you look up Morgana, you'll see what I'm talking about. But it turned from, like you said, from being a fan and to fanaticism, where you have your access. It used to be the thing whereas the worst a fan could do is reach over if and interfere, like if it's a home run, like with the
Mhm.
Jeffrey Myers with the Yankees and the Orioles.
Grab the
You
ball,
know
they
what I
go
mean? With the
Chicago.
Bartman, with the Chicago Cubs, you know what I mean? That type
Yeah.
of thing. You know what I'm saying? But there was a situation a few years ago. Well, it was a while back. In Chicago with the White Sox. I think it was the Kansas City Royals first base coach. These two guys came out of the stands and beat the hell out of this dude. It was the first base coach, and they just was mollywhopping him, bang, 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 bang. They was just giving him the business, and it was a backstory to that. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And so again, at the end of the day, the backstory isn't the point. The point of the matter is, how did these two guys get on the field? And it was just beating this dude, beating him, beating him, beating him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, as much security as you have, we talk about the situation that occurred with Big Daddy Kane, happened overseas and stuff like that. Shout out to Florida boy Jay, he's in the building, and stuff like that. These people, are getting really really out of pocket with it, you
Yeah.
know. And again, I don't want to,
Oh,
Cassidy.
twins. Twins.
Okay. Floyd Boy J came dressed for the occasion. Look at this guy. Look at
Twins.
this.
Hey,
I,
hey,
Jay, I feel so out of tune and out of
Twins.
pocket. I guess the old head, I got black and white. Y'all came in Technicolor. You know what I'm
hey,
saying?
Twins.
it's a festive show today. It's an NFL show. I came to
Yes.
show love. You know what I'm saying? It's some Eagles fans in
Appreciate you,
here.
dog.
Um, you
Appreciate
know,
you.
of
I
course.
wanted to get we before we get into the talk about the NFC. And yeah, we're gonna let you get your Jacksonville Jaguar thing on because you missed the show last night. So we'll let you get your Jacksonville Jaguar piece in. What's your thoughts in regards to these fans, man? Like the situation with Ronald Acuna that happened, the situation with Big Daddy Kane, where these guys got to get too close to the situation and make it about themselves. What's your thought about that?
My thoughts about that is what you're seeing now is more emboldened people trying to touch the fans or trying to touch the people. And I think a lot of that is a microcosm of the accessibility in social media
Mm,
to where you have an entitlement to have access to your favorite artist, your favorite entertainer, your favorite singer, your favorite athlete.
right,
Because
right,
back in
right,
the day, back in the day, you didn't know about a certain player like till they came to college, until they, graduated or got drafted. Nowadays, you learn about the best middle schooler in AAU, or you learn
Let's
Yeah.
about the
go.
best
Mm,
rapper, you know what I'm saying, who just made a hit song in his basement. So you're meeting a lot of the people who are hitting stardom way earlier than what we're expected to. And that gap to where they have to separate themselves, people don't accept that the way they used to anymore. And I think that's just what
okay.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I was just telling Yada, and again, like being the elder statesman, the OG, it's like for me, it's like these guys don't even worry about the consequences or the repercussions. Jay, they just want to make sure that you see what happened. You know what I mean, and make sure you go to their page and they can monetize this thing and make sure you support me. I'm gonna go set this GoFundMe page up. Did you see what I did? Go to my page and this is what we are. We real with it. We touch and we feel these guys until something happens to somebody. So
Right.
we were discussing, like, back in the days when I was a little kid or whatever, they had this lady named Morgana. She would come on the field at baseball games or whatever, and she would like actually hug players, in while the game was going on and kiss them. All right. And it went from that to these two guys in Chicago beating the hell out of the first base coach of the Kansas City Royals. I mean, beat his ass. They was laying into him. You know what I mean? So it had to be a backstory behind that, and it definitely was. But I just think that, man, again, at the end of the day, you spoke to it like social media, and hey, look at me. This is what I'm doing. Follow me. You know what I mean? I'm real with it. I'm out there. I'm doing what I do. Hit my page and follow me and support me and all of this stuff. And it's gonna get to a situation where somebody gonna get, something's gonna happen bad. It's gonna turn out to be a bad thing, man. So
we already seen that in the NBA. Miles at the Palace, Vernon Maxwell
running
up
right,
knocking niggas out. So like in the NBA, we have seen that plenty of times. And the first thing they want to say, they want to point at the players and call them thugs and hoodlums, but they're not calling the guy who does drywall for a living, who's throwing beer at the players, on the court, and saying racial stuff and just being super obnoxious.
But speaking about football, salute to niggas like James Harrison and other football players when fans ran on the field and niggas got their free lick.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So, yep. That's when you got to have second thoughts about, am I gonna go out here and when this football is different, because again, like you said, these guys are looking for a free one. Yeah, and if they can get one off because it's not their fault, it's your fault. So if they can get a free one on you, they're absolutely going to take it. Before Florida Jay gets into his indulgement, situation here, we talked about the AFC last night, man. So we're going to, let you come on and do what you do, man. Talk about your Jacksonville Jaguars a little bit and give a quick little rundown on the AFC before we jump into the NFC situation.
You muted, FBJ.
Okay, so my bad. I'm going to give you guys a synopsis on the Jacksonville Jaguars, all right? We have probably arguably the most dangerous offense in the NFL right now.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Browski, you notice how he said we? Okay, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. We have one of the most dangerous offenses in the NFL right now. With the addition of Calvin Ridley, people keep forgetting that he's one of the best route runners in the NFL when he was with the Falcons. Then you add on a Christian Kirk, who's already a 1,000-yard slot receiver, who doesn't have to adjust his role because he was already playing in the middle of the field. Ingram was already breaking out as a tight end at the back half of the season. Etienne is explosive out the backfield. You just got Tank Bigsby from Auburn, who's a switch up, who's really the power back. We have a coach who is a quarterback coach, has Andy Reid's implemented system with the number 1 overall pick quarterback. In the NFL now, you're either running the Shanahan offense or you're running the Andy Reid offense. We picked the Andy Reid offense. We're doing what we need to do. Our defense doesn't have a lot of depth when it comes to pass rushing, but we're in a weak division, and our schedule is favorable because all of the tough contending games are home games for us. So it sets us up to have a top record in the AFC this year for the Jags. That's my little summary.
Okay, let me ask you this: is it going to be any after effects or a hangover from Remember you guys in the playoffs? You were down 27-0 against the Chargers. You came back and won that game. Then you went and played against Kansas City and made it happen. Is it going to be any lingering after effects, or this? We wiped the slate clean, and this is the 23 Jaguars. And we're gonna come in and make it happen because you guys are really a consensus pick to win the AFC South.
Yeah, I think it's a wipe the slate clean thing because we didn't accomplish anything to try to put your hat on. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you just made the divisional round. You all you did was make the divisional round. You were supposed to. That ain't no fucking accomplishment. You just made the divisional round. You won a playoff game. You won your home playoff game. That's what you're supposed to do. Nobody's looking at it like the years you made to the AFC Championship game and lost. Yo, those are more
right,
years, but nobody in Jacksonville sitting back as if we accomplished anything because we already knew the talent we have, and now the talent is finally living up to what it's supposed to be. And when you look in the reality of the situation, unless you're Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, you're not going into a Sunday game against Jaguars and think you about to come out that bitch with a win. Not anymore. Not right now. We have the quarterback. We have our great white hope. The front office has finally put money behind the quarterback and invested in real offensive weapons, real niggas who are first round picks, who were them niggas in college, and it's showing improvement. We have a blue chip offense right now.
Yeah. I think that you know Jacksonville is a clear one of the AFC South. Like they should clearly take the division.
It's a weak division.
I said that yesterday. Easily.
Yeah,
I feel like Jacksonville might take, you know, like you said, the you know, using the Andy Reid offense. I said it yesterday. I feel like they're going to take the Chiefs route with outscoring everybody and just relying on the defense just to maintain the lead, like being front runners because of their defensive skills. Just like the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs were just, you know, front runners and let the defense, you know, try to maintain the lead that they have. So yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And when it comes down
to go ahead, Jay.
Oh no, all I was gonna say is when it comes down to the AFC as a whole, it's probably the AFC is the deepest it's ever been, probably since Brady, Manning, and Roethlisberger and Ray Lewis and them boys, when it was at least a solid 4 every year. And you still had your Chargers in, you still had your Jets in, the Jags might contend, you know, the Texans might, the Bengals might, you know, the Broncos might, the Chiefs might. But right now, this is the deepest the AFC has been to me in the history of the NFL. In the history of the NFL.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it. I said last night, you could put 7 teams in a hat, and any one of those teams that you pull out, you wouldn't get really too much beef about. You know what I mean? So again, the AFC is really gonna be, you know, crazy. We talked about one division last year, Jay. We talked about the AFC West, how crazy that was gonna be. But now this year, it's like each division, you know, is crazy. You could just, you know, pick your poison or whatever. I'm gonna let, you know, the my Code D in the building, Yada Bear. This is down in Sports Talk, y'all. We in the building. Get at us. My Code D, the defending NFC champion over there in the house. You know. I'm gonna let her do what she does. Let her talk about her Eagles and get into a little NFC talk. Go ahead, Yada Bear. So are you?
Oh man, we are extremely excited for this season. The city is buzzing. You know, football is king in Philadelphia. You know, we love our Sixers and our Phillies, you know, and the Flyers. But when it comes to the Eagles are king of the city. We're excited for our team. Our offense just got better. You know, the addition of, you know, Swift and Penny, along with Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott, like that's a amazing running back core right there. A lot of diversity, a lot of power, a lot of catching from out the backfield. You know, we still got our 2 studs at wide receiver with, you know, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. We're looking for them to keep on doing what they do. Of course, Jalen Hurts, you know, a true professional. Like this guy, he does nothing but get ready for football. It's like if it's not pertaining about football, he don't want anything to do with it. You don't hear him out in the streets. You don't hear him about doing anything besides getting ready for the season. On the defensive side, we're excited for, you know, all our draft picks. Jordan Davis going in his 2nd season, looks amazing. He dropped so much weight and gained so much muscle. He looks crazy out there. We still have, you know, Hassan. He had a little slight procedure on his thumb, but that's nothing to worry about. He's back for the start of the season. We got, Jalen Carter, who I truly believe is the true number one overall pick. I don't understand how the league allow us to scoop him up. All that stuff about off the field activities is ridiculous because on the field he's a monster. So for them to allow the Eagles to grab him at 9 is mind blowing to me. To me, that's like one of the worst mistakes the league has done. And then when you look at our linebackers, N'Kobe Dean, Nolan Smith, these young pups are ready to roll. And we have a core secondaries back there with Bradbury and Slay. So the overall team looked good. We have a tougher schedule, but I don't think it's going to matter. We definitely want to take the division, and the only team I can see giving us a problem is ourselves, truthfully, in the NFC. When you look at the rest of the NFC, I mean, what can I say? Everybody and their mother is jumping out of the ship, keep talking about the 49ers, where I don't understand how you can rely on a guy that you give the keys to for just over after 8 games. Like we know how they look like. Like we seen it with our own eyes. That's how we won the Super Bowl when we had Nick Foles, who's a backup quarterback, caught lightning in the bottle at the right time, and we rode that wave to a Super Bowl. So I feel like last season for the Niners was magic, and for them to give up on Trey Lance, show Jimmy G the door, and just put all their eggs in the basket in the Brock Purdy basket is crazy. And I think that having Sam Darnold there will give Sam Darnold the perfect opportunity to regain a starting position, because I think the 49ers will be average. All they star players that they have on the squad is all injury prone. Christian McCaffrey always hurt.
Yada
Huh?
I'm gonna be transparent. That sounds like fear.
What for the 49ers?
Like fear. It sounds like some fear coming from an Eagles fan,
Eagle fear. There's no fear from who? I'm just speaking facts here.
I'm gonna tell you, but let me point out where I smell some fear at. Right? What was the final score of the NFC Championship game? What was it? 7-21?
No, it was like 35.
Yeah, 35-7. Yeah, 35-7. Right. If you want to keep it a buck, I believe, like, I'm kind of with you on the Brock Purdy tip, where that was more of a lightning in the bottle, and maybe Sam Darnold is more consistent, but his ceiling isn't high enough to beat the Eagles or Jalen Hurts if he's on like how Jalen Hurts is on the Super Bowl, right? I do agree with that point, but also I cannot discredit that they literally did not have a quarterback in the NFC Championship.
But whose fault is that?
But it's nobody's fault. You playing who you playing. But what I'm saying,
but hold on, Floor. But let me put on this. How about their so-called top tier offensive line is what let them down? Because everybody want to talk about Trent Williams. Everybody wants Trent Williams supposed to be one of the best offensive linemen in the game, and he got bullied. He got pushed around. He got taken out the game. So you can't say that about fear coming from the Eagles fan, where it was all proven on the field. Mano a mano.
I think that it was a win. I'm not even putting no action. I'm not even putting no salsa or no salt. I just think that once the quarterback, my third string, fourth string, once my quarterback goes out of game and I need Chris McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel to take quarterback snaps, at that point, Eagles going to win regardless. But that's like a nigga fighting with a hand behind his back at the end of the day. I'm not saying y'all wouldn't have beat them regardless. I think y'all would have beat them regardless. Real shit.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter to have Brock Purdy, Jimmy G, Trey Lance, Ryan Garcia, Colin Kaepernick. We was winning that
Joe
game.
Montana, Steve Young.
We was winning that game. Okay. The thing is that the Eagles dominated on that offensive line, the offense and defensive line. The game is won in the trenches. it's crazy for any team to be victorious against the Eagles defense last season, where Hassan Reddick was living in the backfield.
So what happened? What happened 2 weeks after that?
Hey, we went against a better team, and who knows? We didn't pack the right cleats. We went against offensive genius. At the end of the day, the better team won. I'm not taking anything away from the Chiefs. Right. They beat us. You know, Andy Reid out-coached Nick Sirianni and Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, and I would like to say that getting Jalen Carter is equivalent to the 82 Lakers winning the finals and drafting James Worthy.
It's crazy. I
see that.
When I was watching the draft, I couldn't believe that, one, he didn't get drafted number 1 overall, and 2, that he fell all the way to 9. It was ridiculous to me. It's like, I don't care what he did or what happened. He wasn't behind the wheel. He wasn't driving the car. He didn't make the other person race. You know, at the end of the day, it's bad. Someone lost their life, but it wasn't his fault. He didn't put a gun to anybody's head to make them, race. He didn't do anything like that. But hey, they let him drop that far. Let him drop. I'm glad they did, because we scooped him right up. It was not even a second thought. But when we talk about the NFC, we're gonna look at what's going on in Seattle. You know, Geno Smith got a contract. Is he worth the money? We're gonna see if he's worth the money or not. We're gonna see if it was a 1-year fluke, or if he can build off of what he started last season and get Seattle, to be relevant again. Staying in that division, we was talking about the Rams, how easily they fell off the mountaintop. They won the Super Bowl. The following year, they was like average. The year after it, they was trash. It's like everybody got old and hurt super fast with the Rams. It's like they don't even look the same. It's like when you think about the Rams, it's like Matthew Stafford injured, Cooper Kupp injured. It's like only guy that really got is Aaron Donald, and it's like everybody else is like irrelevant on the Rams. So hopefully we'll see if they can bounce back, or Matthew Stafford is going to be who Matthew Stafford has been.
I think it's the end of the Rams. They sold their souls for that Super Bowl, which was a good idea, because Super Bowls create legacies.
Yeah.
Hey, Florida Boy Jay, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. One ring.
As a Bucks fan, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it'll certify you for a lifetime. It'll keep you employed for a lifetime. And just like you're saying, as a Buck fan, you know that you sold your soul twice for 2 championships, but it was worth it both times, because both those teams had dominant Super Bowl wins, and they're both going to be etched in NFL lore.
Yeah,
for 2 completely different reasons. One, greatest defense of all time. The other was the last coronation for the greatest quarterback of all time. Mm-hmm. You're talking about a Tampa Bay franchise that's just like the Jags, outside of 2 rings. Like, Nick, we're afterthought in the main scheme of the NFL storylines, narratives, and all that shit. We'd be on the outskirts. So when it's time for
watch out there now.
No. I'm just speaking real. Even like with the Dolphins,
you guys on the outskirts right now.
It's real shit. No, it's real shit. Like, even
listen, go ahead. No, I'll let you go ahead. Do what you do. You're right. You're speaking facts.
Yeah, even teams like Seattle, who have winning a history of winning, get disrespected just because they're in the Northwest. Teams like the Vikings, who are literally one of the most consistent teams, but because they do not have 1 Super Bowl, can't sit at the same table with the Buccaneers. And the Vikings have the same winning trajectory as the Pittsburgh Steelers since the 70s. They just don't have the rings to show for it. But you can never tell me a time that the Minnesota Vikings has ever been bad for a consistent period of time. But a championship will take you from a Buffalo Bill, from a Viking, to a Buccaneer, to a Ram, to anybody who can win a Super Bowl, to a Saints. The Saints, after 2009, a certain level of prestige came over that franchise, to where the next year they can open up 2 years later against the Packers on Thursday Night Football, and it looks like an NFL royalty game, because that's what a championship does for a franchise. So selling out your GM, your star players, your owner, and whoever else got to be sold has to be sold in order for us to win this ring and be etched in history. That's what it's all about.
And then
I
seeing,
want,
and
I
then
want. Go ahead, Browski. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you, going back to your Eagles. You got a different situation on both sides of the ball as far as your coordinators are concerned. Shane Steichen is out as offensive coordinator. You got Brian Johnson now. Jonathan Gannon is out on the defensive side, and you got Sean Desai. Those guys are definite, quality coaches, the quality coordinators. Do you think that's going to have any effect on what's going to happen, for this upcoming season? The difference in the changes on the coordinators.
Yes, I definitely do, especially in the defensive side, to see it as a positive change. Because as you know, for the past 2 seasons, when we had Jonathan Gannon, I always thought that he was the weak link of the coaching chain. And it was proven in the Super Bowl last year when we got beat by the same play twice. Just the only thing they did was just flip it to the opposite side. So
Right.
so having him out as defensive coordinator, I was all for it. I was ready for him to be gone last season. I didn't even want him there. And it was the fact that I feel like the talent of our guys overshadow his
Got you, Jay.
inconsistently coaching style and not having players in the right position and not having the correct scheme all the time. I just feel like our team was just so talented that they was able to overcome his lack of coaching ability. So having Sean here is a extreme upgrade. And then on the offensive side, yeah, Shane is gone, but it's still Nick. We still got Nick Sirianni here. He was still part of the offensive game plan, and just having just elevating Johnson up to coordinator. So I feel
From
like
quarterback coach. Right.
yeah, I feel like it's just it's not going to slow us down. I don't think it's going to be any type of disadvantage. I see it more as an advantage, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Just watching some of the preseason games, they seem more quicker, more lively, and you see a little bit more blitzing, you know, more rushing to the quarterback, getting guys more in the backfield a lot more, and going from Gannon, it just seemed like a lot of guys was out of position, a lot, especially out in the secondary. Our safeties sometimes out of position. Sometimes our third corner when we out there playing nickel, he'd be out of position. But it was like the talent. We had such great talent on the field that they was able to overcome that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sean Desai, I hope I'm saying his name right. He did have the Bears, they were the sixth ranked total defense last year. So again, I just wanted to see if there's going to be any, I'm not expecting a drop off because it's kind of like, opening the door a little crack and leaving it open for some people, that familiar faces to come in. Because like you said, Brian Johnson was the quarterback coach, so he's familiar. You know what I mean? And then you got, Sean on the defensive side, he's already known to be, a coach of a very, a decent defensive unit. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. But go ahead, finish your thoughts in regards to the NFC real quick, because I know you got to talk about your division.
And then when we look at, we can't forget about the Cardinals out there in the NFC West, who's on a massive decline. They didn't even announce who their starting quarterback is. I feel like they are tanking this season. When you see Kyler Murray out there, doing training camp, he just looked like out of shape, disinterest. He doesn't even look like he want to be there.
That ain't what you said behind the scenes. What you say?
I mean, look, he was walking around with a sports bra on.
That's crazy. Send your emails over there, y'all. Send your emails over there.
Extremely out of shape. His hair was looking crazy. He just looked untamed, uninterested, and looked like he was trying to run out of Arizona. And you had spoke about this before in the past, that you feel like he's more interested in playing baseball, and I can agree with that because he definitely looked like he had zero interest of being a quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals or for any NFL team. So I think they're just going to um, be a non-factor, and I think D Hop saw the writing on the wall and said, "I got to get out of here," because he been a part of the losing life when he was down in Houston. You know, when when they ain't had
Yeah,
Deshaun.
that situation was going on.
Yeah, so he was like, I got a boat. I got to go somewhere else, and he left and went to Tennessee. Um, when we talk about the Packers, when we talk about behind the scenes with the Packers, it's like now Aaron Rodgers is gone. That whole soap opera of Aaron Rodgers going to stay, and he's going to leave, he's going to retire. Well, he left and he went to the Jets. So now we got Jordan Love there, and which it seems like nobody knows anything about because it seems like they keep him under wraps. So it's like, is he that good that they don't want people to see, or is he that bad and they don't want people to
For
see?
people to see.
So we don't know what to expect when we see Jordan Love, especially in that division, because that division is wide open with Minnesota, Detroit, and Chicago. Um, People will look at it and easily think that the Vikings should take the division, but I kind of feel like the Lions might surprise people and actually
Uh-oh.
take it.
Mm-hmm. You
Yes,
sound like I did last
I'm
year.
jumping on the Detroit Lions wagon a little bit because I like what I saw last season from them. Offensively, we know who Jared Goff is. We know that he will be the reason why you lose, and he'll be the reason why you win. He may give you 3 touchdowns, but I'm pretty sure he's giving you at least one pick and probably a fumble somewhere. Um, but their defense looked good. I can't wait to see another season of Adrian Hutchinson out there, see his improvement. Amon St. Ron and the kid who got hurt last season was named Jameson Williams, the wide
Right.
receiver. Yeah, I can't wait to see a full season of him because he came back a little late after during the season because he was injured. So can't wait to see a full season of him there. Then when we go to Chicago, I mean Chicago is an iffy situation there because who is Justin Fields? Like, is he really as good as people think he's going to be, or where he at now is who he is? I don't know if he's going to evolve into a pocket quarterback, be able to throw in the pocket, or is his skill set is more set on just running. Um, he got a number one receiver. They said he's the number one receiver when they made it. When Carolina they made the trade and they got what's the guy name that they what is that receiver name from Carolina?
Jay,
Oh,
God,
DJ Moore. Yeah,
DJ Moore, right,
they
right,
got
right.
DJ Moore now, so he's supposed to be their number one receiver. So we'll see what happened there. I'm not really that big on Chicago. Chicago has been like one of those losing franchises for decades. Who knows when they're gonna turn over a new leaf and start winning? I don't know. And then we look at the Vikings. Kirk Cousins. We always talk about Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is one thing I'll say about Kirk Cousins. He is a really good fantasy quarterback. He'll give you points. Kirk come out there and throw 4 touchdowns, a pick, 300 plus yards, and you have yourself a really good fantasy day with Kirk Cousins. But sometimes those 4 touchdowns will still result in a loss. Because he's so inconsistent. He got one of the best receivers out there. Very exciting to see. They got the other kid, Jordan Addison, that is drafted, so he's interested to seeing. And now no more Delvin Cook. You know, so it's going to be a Delvin Cookless Minnesota Vikings. And the Vikings always had a pretty okay defense, like middle of the pack defense. So on paper, they should be the clear front runner for the NFC North, but I think Detroit might take it. Then we got to get down to the nitty gritty to the South. The NFC South is extremely wide open to me. You got a lot of teams. Well, wait a minute, hold on. All the teams have new quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Every team.
I mean, Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter's in his second year. Go ahead. Desmond Ritter's in his second year, but it's still new.
But he wasn't a starter, so I'll put him out there. He wasn't a starter because Marcus Mariota has started out the season, so I'll throw him in there. Mm-hmm. But with Atlanta, he got Ritter out there starting. They got let's see what Bijan going to do. They drafted Bijan first. They got Kyle Pitts second year, tight end. It's good. Atlanta. I try to say positive things about Atlanta. It's hard because they're just bad. They've been bad for a while too. They was even bad when they had Matt Ryan. The year after the Super Bowl, it was just downhill for the Falcons. It was just crazy. The Saints, Derek Carr, new home. I like Derek Carr as a quarterback. I always thought he was pretty good. Michael Thomas. Still got the kid Chris
Olave.
Yeah, Chris Olave. Second
got him on
season.
fantasy teams. Yeah,
I like. I like him too. But I think the South, anyone can take it. I mean, except for the Panthers. I'm sorry, the Carolina Panthers. I feel bad for that kid Bryce Young down there. They
got weapons.
I don't think he has an offensive line to give him time to even look for those weapons. I don't understand how a franchise can say you draft your franchise quarterback. They said this is our franchise guy, and then you don't draft any offensive linemen to help protect that quarterback. So during the whole preseason, this guy is running for his life. He's running for his life when he's even playing against the third and fourth starters, like the third starters and the guys are not going to make the team. And he's still out there running for his life. It's going to be tough for him. I think this first season of the NFL for Bryce Young, it's going to be a tough one for him. And then you got your Bucks where they're starting all over. The Bucks
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
I told you that. I've been telling you that the Bucks will be in the process.
Listen, I want to know what left-handed I want to know.
Yeah.
His projection on the Buccaneers this year.
Yes, I want to know too. What you say about that?
I was, I'm going to say this about my Bucks and Yada. You've been rocking with me, and I've been saying this for a long time. I said it, 4 years ago. I wasn't really big on the Tom Brady thing. The only salvation that we got out of that was the Super Bowl, which was good. But I said back then, Jay, that we're going to go back to the dark ages, and you said it, we sold our soul to get a ring, and now we're back to square one. My whole thing was we wasted 5 years on Jameis Winston, right? We got Tom Brady, we got a ring, but it was still a lot of deficiencies in that team, man, in my team. Our secondary, and Yada Bear, I'll tell you, my secondary is trash, garbage, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?
I think he got paid off the pass rush. The pass rusher.
Again, absolutely. The pass rush, and Mike Evans was, he gets 1,000 yards every year, but that's whatever. You're supposed to do what you're supposed to do, right? But I think this year, now I think again, we're always finding ourselves starting at the beginning. If that makes any sense. Again, another season with Todd Bowles. You know what I mean? He was handed a situation that he's supposed to be really, really positive. It turns into a negative. We got to go with Baker Mayfield. Yada Bear already knows how I feel about that. Baker Mayfield is a bum. but he's on my team now, so I got to pretend that he's going to try to do something with us. I'm looking at the only saving grace, Florida Boy Jay, is that our division is not that strong. It's winnable. We could do what we need to do. If everybody stays healthy, everybody stays, alert. I'm looking for some big things out of our running back. You know what I mean? We got rid of Leonard Fournette, so I'm looking for some big things out of Rashad White. I'm looking for, Russell. I was looking forward to seeing Russell Gage, but as usual, he got hurt again, so he's out for the year again. So we can't do anything with that. So the emphasis on our team this year, my team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, is going to have to really step up the ground game. Our defense, our secondary still looks like trash because I watched that game against the Baltimore Ravens, and they were letting, those guys that they were still completing 25 and 35-yard passes against my secondary. Again, I think that, this season right here is going to tell what are we going to do with Todd Bowles. There's plenty of talent on both sides of the ball in Tampa Bay, but I think that the changes that we have, man, is going to really tell where we are. Our schedule is not really that hard. You know what I mean? We got, we open up at Minnesota, then we play Chicago, then we play Philly comes to Tampa for week 3. All right. And again, after that, our schedule is not even that tough. So I'm looking at us. We could win, the ceiling. We talked about the ceiling and the floor a couple of weeks ago. The ceiling for my Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be 10 wins. If we can get double digits, okay, I would be satisfied with that. I would take whatever happens in the playoffs. You know what I mean? If we can get 10 wins. If Baker Mayfield can distribute the ball and limit his turnovers, and Todd Bowles' defense can actually play like a Todd Bowles defense for once, you know what I mean? That means more consistency, all right? Some more big play production, you know what I mean? I think my team has enough talent to at least contend, And I think, again, like I said earlier, if the injuries pile up, if, we have bad luck, bad penalties, that's, we got rid of the guy that went to Cincinnati. I don't even want to say his name, you know what I mean, from the offensive line. Every big play that we had last year, Florida Boy Jay Yada Bear got called back because of a holding penalty on this weirdo. I'm not even going to say his name.
I watched it.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to say his name because it irks me belly, if I can say that.
There was really 2 of them. It was Donovan and it was Tristan.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
I'm not going to say that about Tristan Wirfs. Okay. I'm not going to say that about Tristan Wirfs because, again, at the end of the day, Tristan Wirfs was coming off injury, but you said his name. So he's not going to get no shine from over here. He's in Cincinnati now, and I hope that he does the same thing for Joe Burrow that he did last year for us. I think that going back to my team, again, if we can't get double-digit wins, I'll say this, Florida Boy Jay and Yada, if we can't get double-digit wins, Todd Bowles is gone, and we might end up, what did I say, Browski? Caleb for Caleb.
Yeah, listen, you be one of many.
I don't think I'm gonna say this right. I see the Saints winning the division at 9-8.
Oh man, you wilding. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was gonna say the same thing. I think 9-8 win the division.
Yeah, and I think with the Saints, to me, Derek Carr, the big plays I seen him make with Amari Cooper when Amari Cooper came out, right, to solidify him. When I seen Devontae Adams go over there and every Sunday on Red Zone, he catching bodies, mossing motherfuckers with the Jordan gloves. Big play, right? Receiver. I see a Chris Olave, who is speedster, who now he's able to take the defense over the top. When you had a Dalton, a Taysom Hill, Winston, yeah, they may have an arm once or twice to make a throw, but are they a consistent deep ball thrower like a Derek Carr? That's why they even drafted Henry Ruggs, because Derek Carr can get the ball to where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a Chris Olave, you have a connection. Derek Carr has historically played with terrible defenses with the Raiders. Now he actually have pieces like Cameron Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu, Marshawn Lattimore, cornerbacks and safeties galore. Still has Roquan Davis in the middle of the field as the middle linebacker. So you have established leaders on the team where you don't have to come in and handle a group of kids like you always do with Raiders in a dysfunctional situation. On the offensive side, you still have Alvin Kamara, Mike Thomas supposedly supposed to come back, whatever right? Do they still have Jarvis Landry there? And then
And oh yeah, and they still have Jimmy Graham.
I watched Jimmy Graham against the Texans.
Yeah,
He looked like
Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham, wasn't he? Didn't he have some kind of episode last week or something like that? Where,
listen, he didn't take his pills.
Listen, let me tell you.
He didn't take his cuckoo pills.
Left-handed. Let me tell you something. No, when they was throwing the ball to him, he made every play like it was 2013. Like his side.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. But when you talk about Alvin Kamara still got to deal with that suspension.
3-game suspension.
Yeah,
and they
right.
signed Javonte Williams, who was leader rusher with 17 touchdowns.
Right. And again, you know, when you talk about the Saints, you know, defensively, you know, you still got to worry about Cam Jordan. You know what I mean? You mentioned Demario Davis. You know what I'm saying? Marshawn Lattimore and those guys. They got the Honey Badger now over there. You know what I mean? So again, I'm looking at, you know, the Saints being competitive again, but at the end of the day, you know, I gotta, you know, represent for my Bucks. You know what I mean? Buck Nation all day, man. And so at the end of the day, it's a winnable division. I think Yada Bear said earlier, you know, it's a toss-up. Anybody can win that division. Anybody except Carolina, right?
Yes, except for the Panthers. I definitely see it's a 2-man race against the Bucks and the Saints. But I agree. 9-8 will win a division, either if the Bucks or if it's going to be the Saints.
Y'all don't see Atlanta?
No, I don't see Atlanta.
Y'all don't see Atlanta?
I don't see Atlanta, not yet.
Oh, you know they just got Campbell. I know they got Kuda also. They just got Jesse Bates, the safety from the Bengals, so they kind of, you know, solidified that up. You still got that rookie that's coming in, the running back.
Bijan Robinson.
I don't see him being trash, but I don't see him being 9-8.
No, I wouldn't even put Atlanta at 9-8. I just think Atlanta can be one of those pesky teams that you just don't see coming that might end up 9-8. You know, they say 4 teams switch out every year in the playoffs.
True.
And we can never pick out the 4. They'll just fuck around and end up be like the Falcons or some shit. That's just how it goes. Like the Jags went 9-8.
So when you say that about Atlanta, Florida boy Jay, what's your thoughts on Desmond Ridder, man?
My thoughts on Desmond Ridder is that I think he is limited if you are expecting him to be your franchise quarterback. I think if you are leaning heavily into your running game, where you have a Cordell Patterson, who's more like a wide back, a Deebo Samuel type. You have Tyler Algier, who already ran for 1,000 yards last year. Then you have a Bijan Robinson, where you can put that in a Marshall Faulk, in a Christian McCaffrey role, where you can split them out in the back. And now you have weapons. You got a Drake London, who you know, he's supposed to have his breakout year in his second year. You finally, hopefully, can put some type of game plan around Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
He is just a monster waiting to break loose.
Right. Absolutely.
So to me, if you could formulate a competent offensive game plan around proven weapons with Desmond Ridder's capabilities and his limitations, I don't see why the offense won't be way more sufficient than what we've seen in the last 2 years since Matt Ryan left. And I don't see why the defense piece they adding wouldn't be an upgrade enough for Atlanta to steal a couple more wins than what we're expecting. I'm not even saying they're going to win the division, but I don't think Atlanta's going to finish 5-12 or 6-11. I think Atlanta, you could probably pencil
7-9.
You can pencil Atlanta in for a 7-10 record.
7 years. I can say.
Okay, they were 7-10 last year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Don't hurt somebody. Type shit. They might get a late.
Atlanta, you know, sounds like, you know, from Florida boy Jay's perspective, it's that, you know, Atlanta might be that team that you don't want to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. So you don't want to catch them hot. I guess we saved the worst or the best, however you want to look at it, for last.
What, the best? The
NFC East. Where are we at with the NFC East, Yadi? That's your division. What are you thinking about? I already know, but let the people know where you at. Who's going to finish second in that division?
Second is going to be a toss-up between the Giants and the Cowboys. Let's talk about the Giants real quick, you know, because, you know, I can't really bear talking about the Cowboys as much. But the Giants, we're going to see if Danny Dimes is still dropping dimes. You know, he got the money that he was looking.
He got
for.
the money. He gonna have to.
Yeah, he got the money, and now let's see if like I said, if he's still dropping those dimes. They got Saquon back. You know, he ended his holdout for almost the same contract that was offering on for the franchise tag, which was kind of ridiculous to me. Man, I don't know, man. I feel like the Giants going to have a good run. I feel like the Giants is on the upswing.
Nah, y'all there. I need a hard stance on where the Giants going this year. Those the ops. We don't need no soft shoes.
The Giants. Well, look, the Giants going to end up second place.
Second place in the division.
Second place in the division.
So you like what they've done? You think Jalen Hyatt? You think Waller can add some wrinkles and make it a little easier on Daniel Jones' second year in Daboll offense? You think you're more optimistic than what I'm hearing publicly from a lot of people?
I mean, I'm feeling that way because look at the Cowboys. You know, I don't see, for me with the Cowboys, it kills me because they keep telling me that CeeDee Lamb is a number one receiver when he played mostly in the slot. So you telling me when CeeDee Lamb is in the slot, he's not matched up with the number one corner all the time. So to me, most of those numbers he got are fugazi.
And I think he didn't have a catch. He didn't have a play over 49 yards last year.
Exactly.
Which tells me you're not a game breaker. You're
not a number one receiver. You're not a game breaker, and you're playing out the slot majority of the snaps. We already know what Dak is. They have this running back situation. You know, Zeke is gone. Is coming back from an injury.
Tony Pollard.
Yeah, he's coming off of a massive leg injury.
Right.
The defense side, they always want to throw Michael Parsons in my face, but you can get Michael Parsons out the game. We have seen that. We have seen Michael Parsons get taken out the game, not only by the Eagles, but other teams by just running at him, because he
more of a linebacker than a real lineman.
Exactly.
Edge rusher.
Yes, his most of his big plays, most consistent plays are coming from the linebacker position. So I don't understand why they keep trying to throw him on the line and telling me that he's an edge rusher when he's a linebacker.
You know why? Because what he does is kind of the same way Jerry and left-handed. You'll see what I'm saying with this when I bring up how Jerry Rice used to catch touchdowns will be systematically drawn up, kind of how Devontae Smith was used at Alabama his Heisman year, where you weren't beating your man, you were being plays were drawn up for you to score a touchdown. What they do with Michael Parsons is they'll pick a matchup on the line depending on what offense, the formation, and they'll put Michael Parsons on whatever the weak side is, wherever the blocking isn't,
you would take advantage of it.
Yeah, they let them pick it. We're gonna let you pick the spots. Oh, it's third down. We're gonna let you get a full speed rush. The running back can't even pick it up because they're not even for them to adjust to where we chose you to blitz based off of the formation they came out with. They would have to adjust their play, thus giving up their initial play, which is already putting the defense at an advantage. And that's how I see what you're saying, Yada Bear. Where they let him pick his spots to get them highlights.
So I just and to me also with Mike McCarthy now calling the plays, he's not a play caller. For years, a lot of Cowboy fans always saying and screaming about how stale their offensive look. Well, having Mike McCarthy calling the plays is going to make the offense look even more stellar. Like I don't think
we're going overtime tonight.
What was that offensive coordinator? Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore. I don't think Kellen Moore was the problem.
No, the offense was never the problem.
No,
Dak not making the plays when the plays need to be made is the problem.
Yep.
Just like Tony Romo never made the plays when plays need to be made, but because Dak, I feel like he's just black Tony Romo. He's a
game manager.
I never heard it put like that before, but I think that's dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
I
a black
think
Danny White.
that's a dope analogy comparison right there, my guy. Because again, Tony Romo made some of the most boneheaded plays you could think of, and when you think of boneheaded plays, Dak Prescott's name is in the dictionary under boneheaded plays. So again, the black Tony Romo, I like that, yo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bite that, yo. I'm biting that.
Yeah, real
No,
shit.
no, that's absolutely true. And then when you look at, not only just CeeDee Lamb, they bring in Brandon Cooks. Like, what had Brandon Cooks accomplished?
Oh, nah.
Brandon
What
Cooks
do you
has
think
been-
about that? What about on the defensive side for the Cowboys? We're going overtime tonight, y'all. Down at In Sports Talk. Stephon Gilmore. You think he's going to make that much of a difference in the secondary for Dallas?
What Stephon Gilmore 3 years ago?
They're playing opposite of Trayvon
No.
Diggs.
3 years ago, right? Oh, now no. And Trayvon Diggs, we already see niggas got tape on him now. You saw what he did last season. Where were those 10 picks at?
I'll be honest, there's a lot of Dallas hate right now.
He had that one breakout season. Oh, Trayvon Diggs. Oh, he's a new Reeves. Oh, lockdown corner. That side lockdown because Trayvon's there.
Talking wild greasy, ain't that right, Philip Boy Jay? Talking wild greasy.
I was gonna let her cook, and then when she disrespected Brandon Cooks, I'm like, hold on, I gotta jump in right now.
But seriously, Floyd Boy Jay, come on, like Brandon Cooks' best years were behind him.
No, they're not. Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks hasn't been right since he got knocked out the Super Bowl. When he's out there looking for his keys. He hasn't been right since then.
Ralph, you talking wild?
Okay. Like,
I hear you. I'm gonna let you.
Like seeing him in a Cowboys jersey, like I don't know, maybe it will bring back his career. Who knows? But not with Dak as quarterback.
Okay, so hold on, right? Just give me like 2 seconds. I'm not even.
Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, cool. Brandon Cooks' second season in the league. This is 2015. 84 catches, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Then he gets traded to the Then the next year, 78 catches, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Gets traded to the Patriots. Remember the year he got hit? 65 catches, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. Then goes to Rams. 80 yards, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns. Rams last season, Rams 42 yards. He didn't play a full season. 42 catches, 583 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then went to the Texans, trash team. 81 catches, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. Year after that, 90 catches, 1,037 yards, 6 touchdowns. Last year with the Texans, 57 yards, 699, 56 catches, 699 yards, 3 touchdowns. What I'm saying about Brandon Cooks is he's been consistent with trash quarterbacks and trash teams and always goes to a new team, but consistently puts up 1,000 yards for each team. And for him to be predicated the number one or the big play receiver on all those teams, and to now be the second option, even the third with a Michael Gallup, I do think that you are kind of disrespecting Brandon Cooks' new role, already being a consistent player in the league, and also with Gilmore being kind of the same player as a cornerback who's went to different franchises, won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, made a play on Brandon Cooks. You know what I'm saying? Went to the Colts, did his thing, came from Buffalo. He goes to different organizations and plays the number one receiver, and now you're asking him to be the 2 and to guard the second best receiver when he's been guarding number 1 since he came in the league. So you're reducing their workload and putting them also in advantageous positions, just like you would be doing for Micah Parsons. Just like when we talk about the Saints, where if you have certain playmakers, if it's 5 plays that can decide a game, you might gamble that 3 of your 5 playmakers might win the difference. And I think Dallas, just like the reason why they made the playoffs last couple of years, and despite some of their limitations, the Diggs we bring up, the Pollards, the Parsons, they make that play for the Cowboys. Remember when Dak beat the Patriots a couple years ago on that little slant route, and motherfucking CeeDee Lamb took it up the route and forced playmakers make plays, man.
Yeah, that all sounds hot and all, but they're on the Cowboys, so they trash. At the end of the day,
there you go. That's what you're gonna get. There you go.
At the end of the day,
that's gonna fuck it up. That's gonna fuck it up. There's no way the Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl.
Some kind of way you're gonna find a way mess that situation up. What's your thoughts, Florida Boy Jay, in regards to the Cowboys getting Trey Lance? Like, what is that situation going to work out for? How's that going to work out for him? And how's that going to work out for Dallas? And how's that going to work out for Dak Prescott?
I think it's more of a distraction to what the Cowboys are trying to do and what they have going on more than anything, because at the end of the day, if you're not adding pieces to enhance your offense, you're just bullshitting. Nobody on that offensive staff needs to be spending any more goddamn time trying to offensive formulate any type of package, any type of development deals or plans for any other quarterback outside the main franchise quarterback. And for Dak Prescott to know that, and to know that all the quarterback resources should be allotted to me, and now we're even taking 10% of your focus, even if it's 5% of your focus off of me and your development. Any other quarterback on this roster is undermining and is the conflict of interest to my job security.
Well,
and there's no way others look at that, no matter what I'm getting paid. Because you know why? Because I don't see nobody like Aaron Rodgers and what's his name?
Zach Wilson.
Jordan Love?
Yeah. No,
Zach Wilson, right, with the Jets.
Yeah,
Zach
nobody's
Wilson.
talking about that.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's an afterthought now. He's an afterthought.
Hey, left-handed. I guarantee you, we're not seeing any Zach Wilson packages this year, my nigga, for the Jets.
Not at all.
You see what I'm saying?
Not at all. But this is the thing about the whole Trey Lance thing. He's not even the backup, because they still got one of the best backups out there, Cooper Rush. So again, this is another reason why the Cowboys will never accomplish anything, because they are battling within themselves before they even get out on the field. Because why would you bring in Trey Lance for a 4th round pick? For what?
You don't even know.
For what?
For him to be a distraction to Dak, so that now when Dak has that 2 interception game, you got the crowd cheering for Trey Lance to come to the game, calling his name. Niggas got signs. I love Trey Lance, when they never seen this guy play it down. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be, Dak threw 2 picks. When they're going to put Trey Lance in the game? It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be that ridiculousness that's going to keep the Cowboys to still be a losing franchise for the past 28 years.
You know what's funny too, and the reason why the 49ers won't win the Super Bowl, no matter how talented they are, because I'm in the Southeast, so college football is dead real over here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
Oh yeah. Got to get into that a little bit too before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But when we go to the Cowboys and what they really got going on right now with Trey Lance, not Trey Lance, my bad, 49ers. We were talking about I mentioned 49ers. That whole year going to college football, there were only 2 quarterbacks that should be 1 and 2. It was as simple as pie all year. It was Trevor Lawrence was going to be number 1. Justin Fields was number 2. It was that easy. They showed you everything they need to show you. Justin Fields lost the national championship, but he carved Trevor Lawrence up in their last game. Efficiency was out of this world. I believed in Justin Fields. If we would have had the 2nd pick overall as the Jags and didn't get Trevor Lawrence, I would have wanted Justin Fields. But saying that, the 49ers could have just got Justin Fields. I think he got picked 11th or something? Mac Jones went ahead of him?
Yeah. Which is crazy. And
we can all see that if you put Justin Fields in that 49er offense, him and Jalen Hurts going toe-to-toe last year.
Different story. I mean, when you think of that draft, when they traded up to get Trey Lance, there were so many other quarterbacks they didn't even look at.
It was just for the fact that you they really tried to, these scouts, quote unquote, really tried to tell us after watching these kids from 11-11 Elite. I remember Justin Fields when he was throwing passes for Georgia as a true freshman. You know what I'm saying? So, these kids. I remember Trevor Lawrence, number 1 overall quarter. I'm Florida State fans oh man, they got Trevor Lawrence. He ain't gonna play, but when he come in, so we know these cats. You got all this scouting department, and you come to draft day, and we hearing about a hoe ass Zach Wilson, Macaroni Jones from down the street. You know, these nondescript ass niggas.
Yeah,
right.
What's Trey Lance?
Yeah.
What happened to Justin Fields? And you see Justin Fields outside of Trevor Lawrence, we can really say is the most talented quarterback out of all of them in the most crappy situation. And if the 49ers would just do their due diligence, I don't see why you pass up Trey Lance for Justin Fields.
Yeah, and it's just mind blowing that for John Lynch to be the GM and for him to have this big blowout of this draft, he should be fired. You know, look at what they gave up for Trey Lance, and look what they turned into. Miami got Waddle. They used one of the picks for Bradley Chubb and used one of the picks for Tyreek Hill. Look what they got, and then in return, you just get a 4th round pick from the Cowboys.
Like, you literally couldn't even play a literal football game last January because you did not have
a quarterback.
You traded everything for
a quarterback. Yep. And again, I'm gonna add on. You know, John Lynch, former Buccaneer. You know what I mean. I'm not gonna shit on him, but you know, when the pot is there, you got to take it. Again, when you talk about Trey Lance, look at where he came from. The example was Carson Wentz. So you know what I mean. So North Dakota State type shit. So you seen what it was, and I guess they was going on a wing and a prayer. Like this guy was putting up numbers. Yeah. He was doing work. Yeah, he was doing work. So again, you know, it's like, okay, we're gonna take a chance. But like you said, Browski, look what it turned into for other teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Down in Sports Talk, man, we in the building. We got my man in the building. Florida boy Jay is in the house. I want to get into something before.
Hold up. Before you go to the next topic, let's talk about the Redskins real quick and how Ron Rivera,
talk about the who?
Excuse me, the Commanders, the Washington football team, and how Ron Rivera is trying to flip the script on Eric. You see how they're talking about the offensive players are feeling like Eric is too hard on them and all that stuff, crying about the practices. This guy just won 2 Super Bowls. You guys won nothing. And you talking about crying. I feel like Ron is trying to throw him underneath the bus, you know, trying to get him out of here. Because I feel like Eric was only brought in to take over the Redskins' job. And I think the Redskins...
Whose job?
I mean, the kick-up Commanders. Please.
Listen.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, the Commanders are going to be an afterthought. Ron Rivera is going to finally get put out of his misery sometime around a holiday or Veterans Day. One of them days that means most to him in his life. They're going to fire him on that.
Boy, Jay stupid.
It's going to be like cancer awareness or some shit like that.
Yeah, the cancer awareness day. They're going to let him. He gonna see it on the ESPN ticker. They ain't even gonna call him.
Right.
He's gonna read on the ticker. Listen, the team that I am most interested in seeing in the NFC outside of the, some of the Minnesota, they went 13-4 last year. I really want to see if they can bounce back and how they bounce back. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Viking fan, but they've always lost, so I'm always like, let's see what they do.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, we opened up with the Vikings. We opened up with the Vikings. So, like I talked about earlier with my secondary, I want to see if my secondary could deal with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, you gonna
we'll find out early where we are. We'll find out early.
Yeah.
First 5 passes, you gonna know what you work.
You gonna know.
We gonna see what it is. Down at In Sports Talk, man, we got Florida boy Jay in the building. It's always a time when the homie is here, and we talked a few weeks ago, and he said definitely he's gonna make his presence felt in the football season, and we look forward to that. Let's go to the NCAA for a second. We got a few more minutes before we get out of here. We're doing overtime, y'all, down in Sports Talk. Florida boy Jay, Deion Sanders is about to get it cracking on Saturday against at TCU. Where do you think, and how do you think this season is going to pan out for Colorado? Their first and only and final season in the Pac-12 before they move to the Big 12. How do you think everything's going to turn out with him with the guys in the transfer portal? He brought his Louis luggage with him, his son with him. How do you think all that's going to work out for Deion in Colorado?
I think you can see him going 5-8. Maybe if you're lucky, winning one of them ranked games, and you call it a day. It is what it is. I don't think nobody should be coming in here thinking this nigga about to go 10-1 or 9-3.
Right.
They don't have the trenches they don't have the infrastructure in that section, in that division. They don't have the playing time. They don't have cohesion. They don't have the seniors, the freshmen, the red shirts that is going to take to go up with them Bamas and them Notre Dames, or even on your schedule when you want to talk about
UCLA, USC, and Arizona State. Right.
I just watched USC against San Jose State.
Yeah.
Their defense.
Yeah, did you watch? Yeah, Caleb Williams, man. Yeah.
Caleb Williams looked nice, and that one dude was number one. I forgot his name. That he was a kick returning, running out the backfield, catching, looked like Reggie Bush. But I will say this: I don't know what people think USC about to be, but and I don't know who the hell San Diego State was or San Jose State was. But right. USC defense, they about to drop.
Yeah, let's go, Jay. Absolutely.
I don't know what the hell we was watching. That ain't no football. That ain't no number 6 USC.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, they did. They definitely looked like number 16.
San Jose State was running up and down the field till about halfway through the third quarter. Until number 1.
Till they got tired. Right. Until they got tired.
No more of that.
Yeah, the little nigga broke his back. Sorry, dog. Once he did the kickoff return, I'm like, I kept watching. I was like, yo, who is this nigga? I'm like, all right, whoever he is, he demoralized the game.
Yeah, he took over.
Yeah. All right, so we gonna end it. We gonna end it with Florida Boy Jay on this one. Sunday night, my guy, the Camping World kickoff situation. LSU in the swamp. I mean, not the swamp, in Tallahassee at the Florida State Seminoles. That's your squad, huh?
No, we're in Orlando.
Orlando. Okay. So what's your thoughts regarding LSU with Florida State?
Florida State's gonna win. We're gonna remind, and this is gonna be our coming out party. This is gonna be and this is why I love being a Florida State fan. I just love being a fan of an elite college football historical team, because it's one of them. This is one of them blue chip games. It's one of them standalone games. Like you know what I'm saying? This is one of them. Like last year was really our coming out party, but we just lost at NC. It's just some little shit. It's cool, but we beat LSU in the Superdome last year, unproven. So you're not gonna tell me we accomplished a 10-3 season, beat Oklahoma in the bowl game. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Beat our rivals. Did what we had to do. Really built off of a whole season. And then come back, okay, now y'all coming to Florida. Y'all basically, now it's our home game. All of our quarterbacks proven. Jared Verse is proven. Our transfer portal is proven. We have a 6'4" wide receiver and a 6'7" wide receiver and a 6'3" wide receiver. And Jordan Travis, who is a Heisman candidate. Vincent in the backfield. We got a 3-headed monster in the backfield. Like, niggas be discount Florida State, but you don't really watch Florida State, if not you, but most casual fans. If you really watch Florida State, you will understand we have offensive pieces and defensive pieces to compete. We just beat LSU last year. I think we're going to beat them again convincingly. I think we're going to win by at least 10 points.
Do you think being ranked number 8 was too low or too
no,
high?
That's just where we need to be. That's just where we need to be, because niggas going to start falling off like flies anyways. We don't need to be too high right now.
Okay.
No, as long as we're in the top 10.
I'll rock with you.
Top 10 team. I'm not saying we're the best team in the country, but we're definitely a top 10 team. As long as you got us somewhere in that top 10, I'm satisfied. Just roll out.
I rock with you. I rock with you, Florida boy. I rock with you, Florida Boy Jay. But I'm gonna let you know, man. When you talk about Florida State and their history, because I'm a Miami Hurricane dude, and I've been rocking with Miami since '83. Right. I'm not gonna mention wide, right, wide, left. I'm not gonna mention none of that to you, because when we see y'all on November 11th, I know you're gonna be giving me the business. So again, I'm talking real calm right now, trying to be real friendly and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because my Miami Hurricanes, we do our thing, but we've been garbage the last few years, and we deserve that after all the success that we had in the 80s and in the early 90s and stuff like that. But again, man, I salute you. I thank you, bro, for coming through like you said you would.
Wait a minute,
you know what I mean?
Before he leaves, can he? What do you think about Jackson State? Looking as good as they did in their first game about Deion as head coach against Alabama State.
I think that was awesome, because you still showing that people want to go there and there's still enthusiasm, and still showing that those players, they still kept talent, and because of what Deion put down over there, they're still getting the top HBCU talent. They may not be getting those blue chip Deion recruits anymore, but they're still getting the top tier of their crop of what they're able to pick from. So I think that's
I thought they looked good. I think I didn't think they would drop off as much.
Yeah, and lastly, I will say, as far as I find out, left-handed. When it comes down to the Buccaneers, you got to remember, I'm 30, right? So when I start finally being able to watch and see football for real, we're talking about, 96, 97, 98. Tampa Bay, I don't know the creamsicle Buccaneers. I only know the Derrick Brooks. Like, when I came into football birth, Buccaneers, that's what I know, right? So I don't ever look at Buccaneers like the rest of everybody. I've never seen them as, like, losers the way everybody else has. I always seen them as niggas used to be them niggas, right? And when it comes down to the Hurricanes, contrary to, I think, national belief, most Florida State and Miami fans, it's a rivalry, but I think we both have mutual admiration for both.
Absolutely.
And because it's different than most rivalries. We both equally hate the Gators just as much.
Right. That's right. Let's go. That's right.
What the conversations are about. Like, we found a nigga Hurricane. It's like, oh, you a Hoover, I'm a 40, I'm a 60, or like whatever. Like, we both Crips, but we different neighborhoods.
Right.
Plus is the Gators. Like, they still.
We looking at them niggas like, get the fuck out of here. Right.
You might outnumber me. You run the pockets. It is what it is. But I'm not gonna run down on you with the 5. The niggas over there though, if you or I knock that nigga head out,
no doubt. Hey, listen, man. Plug your platform, man, and we definitely appreciate you for coming through, man. And we look forward to seeing you, more during the football season, man. Talk about your platform a little bit before we go.
Yeah, man. Perspectives Facts Podcast. We're going live. Pretty much like once, twice a week, sometimes even 3 times a week, depending on how much content we can get out. I really appreciate, you guys, doing some content. We're collabing and stuff, especially around football season. We can just get a lot of dope shit popping off. I got you guys in the community section.
Absolutely.
In the community section also. And like, watch my channel. Go ahead and subscribe. I got videos. I got shorts dropping daily. And, we're lit. Anytime we need to talk about sports, some shit, we gonna call on Starport, chop it up. We're gonna come on here, chop it up. It's the best time of the year right now. All sports about kicking at the same time. We got content for days, every day, really.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for coming through, man, all the time, man. So the door is always open, man. You know what I mean? And we go chop it up on some other stuff, man. Perspectives. Your podcast is dope, man. I was listening to a little bit of it last night, man. He gets at you, yo. So make sure you check out his podcast, man. He definitely gets it in, man. You know what I mean?
I love you said about hold on. I love how you said about Undisputed too. How Skip.
Yeah.
And how you got 3 niggas over there over talking him. He can't get one word, and I love it.
Listen, you get what you ask for. You know what I mean? Yeah. You get what you ask for. Oh, since we on that topic real quick, we go on overtime. This is double overtime, my nigga. This is what we're doing right now. The topic was on Undisputed, the catch the ball with your body versus catching it with your hands. Now, I played football, right? Before I got my shoulders separated and all that, but that's neither here nor there. We was always taught to catch the ball with your hands and pull it into your body. Now, Keyshawn, the point that he made, depending on like the situation where you keeping yourself between the ball and the defender, sometimes you might have to do that. You know what I mean? But I don't think that their main subject or main topic was to catch the ball with your body, because that's crazy. You don't catch the ball with your body. What's your thoughts on that, Florida boy Jay?
I thought that Richard Sherman was right, because what I always, because also being a nigga who played football, I know about the catching windows. You got the first window, you got the second window, the third window. Mm-hmm. Third window, you're not really supposed to get to, because at the end of the day, you want to position the ball wherever it is, you high point it, and it's like boxing out. Catching a football,
right. Let's go.
Almost the same techniques as getting a rebound because you're blocking out the reach ways of whoever's shooting for the ball. So that's why the catch windows, you have 3 window slots. Catch with your body, not only will it bounce off of the pads and it can ricochet, that can also cause a turnover. You're allowing who's ever guarding you to be able to reach around you, reach in you, and get to the ball, which you're not separating the ball from the person. That's why back shoulder throws are important. So whatever Michael Irvin was trying to say wasn't good advice.
Yeah, not at all, man. He was up there wilding, jumping off from leaving from the table and this and that and the third. So I just thought, I'm sorry, bro. I thought that Undisputed is a train wreck. Go ahead, Broski. Finish your thought. Go ahead.
The table is small. It's like a high bar table. It's like it's so small to have like 4 grown men sitting around this little ass table. And then, like you said, you got Michael Irvin on one side, coon and hands on and just loud. And then you got Keyshawn that's trying to overtalk Michael Irvin because Michael Irvin is on 100. And then you got Richard Sherman that I kind of almost feel a little bit bad for because he's so laid back, calm, and collective. It's like he can't really get a word in unless he's just like bullying them in and just telling them to be quiet. And then he's got Skip just sitting there pouting because he can't get one word in. And
like, what did I get? Like Skip sitting there, like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, and I need them to have a more variety of topics. Like, I don't need a cowboy topic every other segment. You know,
that's what you're gonna get.
It's like
what else you gonna talk about?
Because when I'm like, bad enough we got Skip. Then you got Michael Irvin, who's the ultimate cowboy. That's all he want to talk about is cowboy. And then you got Keyshawn Johnson, for some reason, always want to talk about the Cowboys too. It's like what is going on? Like there's so many other teams to talk about, and I feel like there's no variety because
guess what? That's not to cut you off, but I think everything you're saying is exactly what they're cultivating on First Take right now. And when you see Shannon Sharp and Ryan Clark and you know, and that whole ensemble that ESPN is going to roll out for their Mondays and Tuesdays, you're going to see they're not going to talk about the cow. They're going to talk about the NFL.
Yeah.
And what we're missing, I think that's what they're going to turn that Monday, Tuesday slot into for NFL content on First, where it's going to be NFL news, not Cowboy news. Cowboys might have a segment in the A block or B block. They might have a segment on, but we're not going to have Cowboy focused topics unless that was the Sunday night game. I think that's what ESPN is going to give us.
Yeah, I'm hoping that because it's just ridiculous right now. What's going on?
We in the building, man. We about to get up out of here, man. We gave y'all extra show. We went overtime with the shows. We did Tuesday. We do Wednesday. Florida Boy Jay is gonna, contribute during the football season, and we got a lot of stuff to come up and talk about. Florida Boy Jay, man, we appreciate you, man. Do what you do. Your podcast is popping, man. Anytime, man. The door is always open. You got my math. You can reach out. We could just chop it up or whatever, man. We appreciate you every time, bro.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's a pleasure. Like I said, it's football season. You know niggas hype. I'm gonna holler at you, man. Appreciate y'all.
All right, respect. All right. Yeah, man. We in the building down at In Sports Talk. Myself and my co-D out of Bear in the house. As always, man. I'm gonna get back to doing what I do, man. And look at this. Look at this. The green screen is in the house, y'all. Yada Bear's in the house. Next week, man, is when it all goes down and it starts. Look at this. Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday, right? We're going to give you our division picks. We're going to give you our playoff picks. We're going to give you our Super Bowl picks and all that good stuff. I think you kind of already figure out where Browski's going with her picks and things of that nature. So absolutely tune in next Tuesday night. We got you. 8 o'clock. We'll be definitely in the building. Browski, any last words before we get up out of here?
Make sure you tip your bartender and your waitresses.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. That's what it is. We're about to get up out of here, y'all. Respect, and we'll talk to y'all next Tuesday night when we do the official NFL prediction show. That's the prediction show next Tuesday night. All right? Browski, don't go nowhere. We out, y'all. Peace.
Peace, guys. See you Tuesday.
Ronald Acuna better watch out, boy. His life is being threatened.
Man,